Hey guys, this is Dr. Callahan for Algebra 2, Semester 2 for week 19, Tuesday. I hope you guys are having a wonderful week. Go ahead and pause the video and answer the following 3 questions for your warm-up. All right, let's go ahead and jump right in. So this is going to be due this Friday. Week 19 Friday, your warm-up log is going to be due. Right now, just take a look at your pink packet. How many blank boxes do you guys have? You might want to put like a little folder or like a clip mark or something to remind you that those are the ones you need to redo. Which week and which day is it? And then go to the YouTube channel. It's going to be worth 300 points this Friday, and it is due Friday. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Make sure you guys have your warm-up done. Next, I have you guys do is take a look over here. On this Friday, this is where you're going to be calculating. You're going to look at your 100 points for your warm-up log. You should have 100 boxes completed. So that's going to be your first 100. Okay, so if half of the boxes is filled out, that's totally fine. But if it's just a yes or no or a number, you need to be a little bit more specific and make sure it's completely filled out. Next 100 is going to be on your participation. Have you been participating since week 10 until week 19, which is this week? And participation, I mean, you can't really participate if you're physically not here. So have you been tardy and absent? Have you been looking at your cell phone all this time while you're in class? Have you turned in your packets, etc.? So that's going to be 100 points. Have you been doing the reflection on the Padlet, the Google form, etc.? Next 100 is going to be on preparation. Are you prepared for class? Do you have your headphones on? Are you looking at your cell phone the entire time that you are in class? Do you have your warm-up log out by the time the bell rings? So that's preparation. So all together, you should have the warm-up log, preparation, participation. So 3 different 100s. So all together, it is going to be 300, and that will be your total for Friday. Okay, so this Friday, this is what it's going to be due. All right, so I'm going to have you guys go ahead and watch this video very quickly. For those of you guys on Zoom, you won't be able to watch the video, but answer the following 4 questions on the QR code for the Padlet. So tomorrow is week 19 Wednesday. I will be updating your grade. So your grade for last week of week 18 is determined based on your attendance, participation, and also you actually filling out your study guide for the final. And so you know how you've been doing, and that will determine your grade for that. We don't have Math Excel anymore. So for week 18, 19, and 20, it's strictly just you being present and then filling out your instructional material. So today is the 24th, tomorrow's the 25th. This is week 19. We'll check your grade tomorrow as well. Friday on the 27th is when your warm-up log is going to be due. This Monday is a holiday, so you have a 3-day weekend. And then next week, you'll just have the 31st, Wednesday, Thursday. That Thursday, which is 6/2, is the last day for you to turn any assignments in on Math Excel. So keep that in mind. Any of the packets you need to turn in, any hard copy, this is the final day for any missing assignment. Okay, then that Friday is when your period for 1 and 2 final starts. I won't see you guys that Friday, but I will see you guys on that Monday, which is week 21 on June 6th. And that is going to be your final. It starts at 7:45 in the morning. And remember, you have 15 minutes to be late. After that, that door is going to be locked and you will not be able to take the final. All right, we're kind of getting to the end, you guys. So remember that on the day of the final, backpack along the side of the wall. You guys will take the same test as all 13 high schools. So you guys have the same final. Your final is going to be multiple choice free response, fill in the blank, and multiple select. You'll have a Scantron. My computer will go ahead and grade it. No cell phone, iWatches, headphones of any sorts. Your safety grade, you guys know, is a 75%. 15% is your final, so 60% at the very end is what you needed to pass everything. So last week, this week, and next week, our study guide is really important because your study guide shows you the type of question that will be on your final. Okay. All right, so with that said, let's go ahead and get started. So you have your YouTube channel for this class. A good resource of a YouTube channel is to find your warm-up log questions for the last 9 weeks, especially if you have not been able to do that. So if you take a look at the YouTube channel, there are 88 videos, and just by tracking this, I think one person actually did this yesterday, and that was it. So yesterday's video for week 19 Monday is already here. Oh, this one's in the wrong class. Let me change it to Algebra 1, semester 2. There we go. Hopefully I will change it. Okay, yeah, did. So week 19 Monday is right here. If you've been absent for the last few days and your, final exam practice test looks very blank because you have the packet in front of you guys, you want to start off right over here on week 18 Thursday. That's the question from 1 to 8. Friday, we went over questions 7 to 14. And then yesterday, we did questions number 15 to 24. So you can keep track of how many questions we've actually gone over. I don't make the video because I literally have nothing else better to do. I do it so that way you guys can utilize that in case you're absent, because things happen, whether you're sick, like one of my students got food poisoning last night from last class and he was not here. And so this gives you the opportunity to at least catch up to make sure you didn't miss anything. All right, so last class, we did 15 to 24. The video shows you how we went about getting to these questions. So you need to watch that if you have been absent, or maybe you were here, but you were like taking a nap or something. Today is week 19, Tuesday. This is our day 4 of your study guide. And you need to have your study guide. I'm assuming everybody has that. If you need it, please grab one. You need to have your highlighters and then your TI-84 calculators, because a good portion of your final, you need to know how to use a calculator. And it's not just about knowing where the buttons are, but also all of the buttons. Like, what is the purpose of these buttons on this calculator? And of course, you need to know where they're located. So make sure you grab those 2 items. So today is week 19, Tuesday, and we're going to go over 25 to 34. Tomorrow, I am kind of anticipating this to continue on into, let's see here. I think tomorrow, Wednesday, we'll just continue on with number 35, and it's a Wednesday, so it's a shorter day, so maybe to 40. Maybe just a 40. We'll just do 5 questions perhaps, and then do your grade check. Yeah, I think that's good. Grade check. And then on Thursday, we'll go on to number 41 to 50. And then Friday will be number 51 to 60. Monday, you'll have that day off. So then on that Tuesday, number 61, I think it's at 67, so to the end. So I'll just put 67 or end. Okay, and then you'll be done with your entire thing by next Tuesday. And on that Wednesday, we'll just go ahead and study and review. Thursday, study and review. And also on that Thursday is a last day to turn in missing assignments. Oops. Yep. I do. Yeah. Actually, it is. If you go with the back, does anybody need a copy of the study guide? Have like extra. Do you need a QR code for this class? For the video? Have that? And I have all of the stuff here. All of the stuff. Yeah. Does anybody else need a study guide? Study guide anyone? Let me give you the QR code. You know what? I don't have that one, but I can go ahead and just come out. All right, you guys, so let's go ahead and get started with this. Let me go ahead and print this one out first. Does anybody else need a QR code for this class? Anyone else? I'm just gonna print one out right now. Anybody else need a QR code? It's also on Teams, but if you do need it, I'll be more than happy to print it out for you. So I'm gonna print it out right now. It's just come out from the printer right there. So you can just grab it from the printer and that's it, yeah. But the QR code basically just looks like this, you guys, and you have the syllabus for the class and then also for the YouTube channel, which is the most important thing. The syllabus, it doesn't even matter because we're at the end of the school year. So yeah, but yeah, it's coming out right now from the printer. You can just grab that. You're welcome. And so again, it's never too late for you guys to go ahead and complete your assignments. You have until June 2nd. Granted, there is a penalty because, you know, if it's late, it's late. And that's just to be equitable and fair for kids that have turned things like consistently in for like the last several weeks. But you know what? This is your junior year, you guys. You still have time to like raise your grade. You don't want to have a 60% right now and then fail the final. And I'll tell you right now, that final is really difficult. And I think you know that because you've been looking at the questions on your study guide, and that study guide is exactly the same kind of question that will be on your final. You don't want to risk going, maybe I'll pass the final. Chances are you won't, because last year's common district final average for all the 13 high schools, not just for Hogg, for like some of the more affluent schools like McQueen and Galena and AACT, the average was only 52%. So already it tells you that most people do not do well on the final because it's a damn hard final. So if you have a 60%, I'm gonna tell you right now, after the final, you're not gonna have a 60%, you're gonna go below a 60%. So yeah, just plan for it, okay? And you wanna make sure you have at least a 75% so that when you fail the final, you have a little bit of a cushion, you know, to still pass. You don't want to take 2 math classes next year, your senior year. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Number 25 is right here. So turn over to that page. Does anybody else need a copy of the final set guide? Have extras. All right, let's go ahead and get started with number 25. So which one is equivalent to this? Now, you guys remember us going over questions that are very difficult, just like this, where it's like a fraction on top of a fraction. So first thing you want to do is you don't want to have a fraction on top of a fraction. So I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite it. So I have t plus 2 over, and here's the thing. I know how to factor the denominator, so I'm just going to factor it and just get it done with. You know, it's going to be 2 little parentheses, and you have a t and a t. So you're going to ask yourself, what times what gives me a 15? But when I add it together, it gives me an 8. And they're all positive numbers, so the numbers have to be positive. I think 3 and 5 would work, you know, because 3 times 5 is 15, but when you go ahead and add 3 plus 5, it gives you an 8. Then you have a division sign, which is this division sign right here. And then what you're gonna do is, remember, you're gonna hit, or not hit, but write down divide. And remember, if it's a division, it's t minus 4, t plus 3. But then going back to 4th grade, your division sign, you have to change it to a multiplication sign. And if you do that, remember the second fraction, you just flip it. So then you have t plus 3 goes on top and t minus 4, that goes on the very bottom. And then the first fraction, nothing changes because only the second part of the fraction flips for the division to multiplication. Now at this point, this is the fun part. You got to figure out what can you cancel. So with your highlighters, I'm going to cancel the t plus 3. And then what I'm left with, you guys, with your second highlighter is t plus 2 on top. But then on the bottom, it's t plus 5 and t minus 4. And the only one that matches that is going to be C as in cat. So that problem looks really complicated, but really it's not that difficult. You just have to make sure that you know how to divide rationals and know how to factor, obviously. And again, if you guys are with me, you know who you are. You'll probably just get the 100 points for, you know, week 19. But if you're over there not doing what you're supposed to be doing, then unfortunately you'll get a 55, you know, because you're here, which I appreciate, but to get higher than a 55, you will have to literally do the work, okay? All right, number 26. Now we're gonna go ahead and solve this, and you know it's a solve because there is an equal sign. So I'm just gonna highlight this part right there so you guys know. If you're solving for this, first thing you wanna do is you wanna cross multiply. And what we're gonna cross multiply is in the cross multiply the green parts, and then cross multiply the orange parts, okay? When you do that, you're gonna have x plus 4 times x plus 6, which is the green, equals x minus 5 times x minus 3, which is the orange. Okay, so then at this point, you guessed it, you're gonna have a FOIL it, F-O-I-L. At this point of the game, you guys should be able to do this in your head. If you cannot, that's okay. I'm going to show you guys to do the one on the left side. But F stands for first, so it's just x and x, so that's x squared. Outer is the numbers on the outside, or the letters on the outside, or the terms on the outside, which is 6 and x, which is 6x. I stands for inside, so that's 4 and x. And then last is 4 and 6, which is 24. In most situations, you will be able to combine the outside and the inside. So 6 and 4 is going to give you a x squared plus 10x plus 24 equals. On the right side, you do the same thing. But if you could do this in your head, you'll know that first is x squared, outside is negative 3x, inside is negative 5x. So negative 3 and negative 5 is a negative 8x. Last is negative 5, negative 3, which is a positive 15. My goal here is to solve, so I want to find what x is equal to. And what do they both share on the right side and the left side? Do you see how they both have an x squared? So you can just cancel that, just cross it out. It's just gone, because if I subtract it, it's still going to be gone. Good morning. Do you need a study guide, my dear? Do you have a study guide? You do? Okay, cool. Then what you're going to do is I'm going to move my 8x over to the right side. And then I'm going to move my numbers. I'm sorry, move the 8x to the left side. I'm going to move my number 24 to the right. So opposite of a positive 24 is a negative 24. So let's cross out the ones I could cancel. 8 and 10 is 18x. Positive 15 and negative 24 is a negative 9. Well, what's opposite of a times 18? It's a divided by 18. So x equals negative 9 over 18, but none of the answer matches that because you need to reduce it. So if you divide it by 9 on top and bottom, you can reduce it to a negative 1/2. So which answer matches 1/2 or negative 1/2? Well, it's not D because that's positive. So it's B. If you circle D, even though you did all of that work, but you just messed up on the sign, the computer is going to grade it as you just didn't know what you're doing. It's going to be wrong. So just be careful with the negatives. And I think it's good to practice with this so you can see like the type of question that'll be on your final and like all the little tricks and all the little like landmines that you could potentially get the wrong answer. So that's why we're practicing now so you can avoid making that mistake. Number 27, I know you guys love it because that one looks absolutely hideous and scary. I know. Okay, so first thing that I'm going to do is I noticed that I don't like having that on top and I don't like having this on the bottom. I want to factor it out. On top, it has a 5 and I'm like, I don't want to do 5 times 20 because that's 100, which is a really big number. But I also know that 5, 15, and 20, you have a common factor of 5. So I'm going to take that 5 out, which will give me x squared minus 15 divided by 5 is 3, 20 divided by 5 is 4. And then I'm going to go a little bit further. I can go ahead and factor that part out. What times what gives me a 4, but when I add it together, it gives me a negative 3. It's going to be a 4 and a 1, and the 4 is a negative because that's a big number, and 1 is a positive because negative 4 plus 1 is a negative 3, which is the middle number. And then from there, you're going to take a look at the denominator, which is the yellow highlight. We're going to factor that one as well. What times what gives me a 6? But when I add them together, it gives me a 7. So it has to be a 7 and a 1, negative and a positive. Okay, so now I factor the right side, the left side, it looks really ugly. So I had to ask myself, what is my common denominator from this? Oh, you know what? I didn't do this correctly. It should be a negative 6 and a positive 1. Yeah, because 7 times 1 is not 6. It's, I need to have a, oh no, no, hold on. Negative and negative, sorry. Yeah, positive 6. Negative 6 times negative 1 is a positive 6. Negative 6 minus 1 is a negative 7. And I caught myself because I was like, if that was a 7, I have x minus 1, x minus 6, and none of them match except for the x minus 1. And I'm like, my lowest common denominator, they probably won't give you 3 parentheses. It's probably just 2. And so that's where I caught my mistake. So if you make a mistake like that, this is how you kind of catch yourself. So if you take a look at this, your common denominator, remember, has to have everything. And your everything has to include x minus 6, x minus 1. Because guess what? Don't they have the same ones there as well? But then your first fraction, there's a few things missing. What's missing in the first fraction? It's missing an x minus 6. So I have to multiply that top and bottom. Second fraction, what is it missing? It's missing an x minus 1. So I have to multiply that top and bottom. Okay, so then let's simplify this because this looks really awful. I'm going to distribute that 3x in here. So I have 3x squared minus 18x. I'm going to do the same thing with that 2x multiply into that parenthesis right there. And then I'm going to have a positive 2x squared minus 2x. My denominator, I can combine the two fractions because they have common denominator now. It's just x minus 6, x minus 1. Now I want to combine a few of the things in the numerator, like for example, 3x squared can be combined with 2x squared, and then negative 8x can be combined with negative 2x. So then my new answer is 5x squared minus 20x. And don't worry, I didn't forget everything on the right side. On the right side, you have 5 times x minus 4, x plus 1. In the denominator, x minus 6, x minus 1. Okay, at this point, do you guys agree that the denominators are exactly the same? Yeah. If they're exactly the same, remember, you can just cross them out. And then all you do is you just set the top part equal each other. Okay, so then that will simplify quite a bit because then you just have 5x squared minus 20x, which is the top part, equals, I have to FOIL the right side. So technically I shouldn't have factored that out. I thought that would have been a good idea, but no, it's not. So really what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go back to the original equation right there and just write it down. 5x squared minus 15x plus 20. And the reason I want to do that is because what do you guys see that's exactly the same on the left side and on the right side? Do you see how there's a 5x squared on both sides? And you could just cross that out. So then you have negative 20x equals negative 15x plus 20. Well, then maybe I should go ahead and move that negative 15 over. So I add the 15x on both sides. This gives me I'm just gonna write it down over here, you guys, so I have a little bit more room. Negative 20 minus or plus 15 is a negative 2 or negative 5x equals, there's only 20 left because the 15 cancels. And then lastly, if you divide it by negative 5, x equals negative 4. That's your answer. Which one does that match? It matches D as in dog right there. So all of that work just for that one answer. And I know that's a lot of work, but like I said before, if you've been coming to class pretty consistently and you've been catching up with your notes and whatnot, you have all of this still on the video as well. So you have all the videos since week 1 Monday for this class. but that will be a question on your final. All right, let's move on. Ooh, number 28. That looks really ugly. So for number 28, take your highlighters, read the question. And I know immediately you're like, I don't like any of this question. I'm just gonna guess. And if you look at your answer, it's F, G, H, I, J, K, L. There's like 6 freaking answers here. So, well, no, 7 answers. This is one of the questions that I was telling you guys about. This is a multiple select. So that means there's 2 or more correct answers. And so your job is to figure out which one are the 2 or more correct answers. If you only select one correct answer, it will be wrong because you have to select all of them, all the correct ones. All right, so we're number 28. Jesse can install flooring in a room in 8 hours. Dustin can install the floor in the same size in 3 hours. Okay, so Dustin's working a little bit faster. Based on this information, which of the following statements are true? And it says select all that applies, which means there's more than one right answer. So don't just select one. Make sure you select at least 2 because it's not going to be one answer. It's going to be 2 or more. Okay, so if you're like unsure about this, first thing that you can do is just take a look at the answers from here and see if it makes sense. So this question was number 58, I think, or I'm sorry, 28. So for number 28, if you go to the very bottom, do you see how it actually tells you the number or the answers H and then also J? So those are the 2 answers that you will need to select in order to get this one right. So H and J. Well, let's go back to our question then. All right, so if Jesse can do this in 8 hours, so Jesse will be 8 divided by X, okay? And then Dustin will be 3 divided by X, which is going to equal to 1 because you're combining both of them together to 1. So that will be one of the equations, and that matches with H. It says the equation, this can be used to determine the amount of time it would take to install the flooring if Jesse and Dustin work together. And actually, you know what? I totally messed this up because X is going to be the total amount of flooring because we don't know how much flooring it is. So X equals a number of floors. And then so divided by 8 divided by 3 equals 1. So yeah. Because if you think about it, like the number of hours you work divided by the number of flooring there are, or the number of flooring there are divided by the number of hours you worked will give you a total of 1. Okay. And then so it's H and J. And then if I were to solve for X, which is how many hours it takes for both of them to complete it together, I will have to solve for this. So remember the common denominator, this right here is a 1. So it's a 1 over 1, okay? Your common denominator between 8, 3, and 1 is gonna be a 24. No, it's not. It's gonna be a, no, it is 24. Or is it 24? 8 times, yeah, it is 24. No, 8 times 3 is 8 times 8. Yeah, it's 24, okay. So 8 times 3 times 3, 3 times 8 times 8. And then how do you get 24 here? Times 24 times 24. So then you have 3x over 24 plus 8x over 24 equals 24 over 24. And then remember I said that if your denominator is exactly the same right there, you can just go ahead and cancel them. Boom, gone. And then you just focus on the numerator to solve. So then if you focus on the numerator, you have 3x plus 8x equals 24. 3 and 8 is going to give you an 11x equals 24. So what is 24 divided by 11? If you type that into your calculator, it's 2.2, which is right there for J. So the only two answers that will be acceptable in this case is H and J. And when you select this, you will literally have to circle H and circle J. Okay, number 29. Two students are making a claim about the expression y equals or y is to the 3/2. Each of the students supporting claim below, student 1, student 2, which of the following statement about each student is true? So let's take a look at the first student, see if it's correct. All right, so 3/2, remember 3 is going to be your power and the 2 is your root, okay? This is your power. That is your root. And so far, I think that looks good so far. Okay, it doesn't look like anything that is crazy. 3/2 is equal to 1/3 times 1/3. That's not correct. And the reason why it's not correct is when you add the 1/3 plus 1/3, that's a 2/3. That's not the same thing as a 3/2. So right there, that is incorrect. So that's where the mistake happened for student 1. Let's take a look at student 2. For student 2, well, 3 is the power, 2 is the root. 3 right here is the power. The 2 is never there, but you guys know that it's just going to be a 2 because it's a square root. So that is correct so far. So here it says y to the 3/2 equals y to the 1 plus y to the 1 plus y to the 1 to the 1/2. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 is going to give you y to the 3 times 1/2 does give you y to the 3/2 because 3 times 1/2 is 3/2. So far that's good. So then if you put into a square root with y, that's good so far. And then when you go ahead and rewrite it, so far that is still correct. So student 1 makes a correct claim and it's shown. That's not correct. So we said that student A made a mistake right there. Okay. Student 1 makes an incorrect claim because y to the 3/2 equals y squared, square. Well, if you add these together, that gives you y to the 6 times 1/3. And that's not correct because 6 times 1/3 is y to the 6/3, which is just 2. So that's not correct. C, it says student 2 makes a claim and their support is shown. I think that's correct, but let's just take a look at D. It says student 2 makes an incorrect claim because this equals that. Well, 1 plus 1 is y to the second power. Y to the second power times 1/3 is y to the 2/3, not 3/2. So D is incorrect. So the only answer that works here is C. So again, this is one of those harder questions where you literally have to know how to do math to get to the right answer. And I know you're like, well, I could guess. That's true. You get 25% chance that you can guess wrong on a multiple choice, but you also have 75% chance that you'll guess incorrect. You know, so really, I don't know, that probability is kind of stacked up against you. Number 30. Okay, so for number 30, this is a crazy question. I think I'm going to stop at number 30 and we have a little bit of extra time. Okay, so your root is a 4. So remember, if you want to take anything out, it has to be in 4s. So I'm going to take a look at the x squared right now, or x to the 12th power right now. And then I'm also going to take a look at the y. Okay, so it has to be in fours. So how many fours can I make into a 12? So I can do x to the 4th 3 times, right? How many times can you do y to the 4? 8 times. You guys see that? So I could take x to the 4th out 3 times. So when I take that out, it's just going to be x to the 3rd. I could take that out 3 times. I could take out the y to the 4th out 8 times. So 8y to the 8th. So immediately right there, I'm like, okay, that's going to be part of my answer. And I know A is not going to be it. And D is not going to be it because it doesn't have the same numbers on the outside. So it could either be C or B. Now I have the number 1296. So what you're going to do is you're just going to go, okay, here's my calculator. And that's why they give you big numbers, because you can use a calculator. 1296. How many times can I divide 4 in there? Once? Twice? Oh, just twice. So 4 squared times 81. So if you think about a 4 squared times 81, does it still give me 1296? Yes, it does. Okay. So 4 squared. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm actually doing this incorrectly. Let's go back. Sorry. So what I'm saying is, like, how many 4 of a kind can you take out? 1296. Let's try 2. Divided by 2, I can do it once, twice, 3 times. Okay, let's try this again. Sorry. This is not working out for me. Oh, for crying out loud. Let's just turn this off. Quit. And clear. Oh my gosh. There we go. Okay, so 1296. Let's try 2s. Divided by 2s. Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Okay, so at 4 times, so 2 to the 4th times 81. Okay, then we're going to try this one more time, because with 81, I wonder if I can go ahead and take something out from 81. So 81, let's try divided by 3. Divided by 3 once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. Okay, so I can do the 81 and just do 3 to the 4th power. Okay, they both have a 4 right here, so I could take the 2 out and take the 3 out. So what's 2 times 3? It's going to give me a 6 on the outside. And there's nothing else inside the square root. So which one says that? The only one that matches is B as in boy. This is where you use your calculator. That's where it comes in. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and see. We'll do one more. Let's stop at 31, you guys. We could do one more. What value of X will make this one true? Oh, for crying out loud. Okay. So y to the 3 over 4 over y to the whatever it is over 8 equals, this is in radical form. I'm going to write it in exponential. So power of 1 over 8. You can do guess and check if you want. So pick one. Before I pick one, I see that my denominator is an 8. So let's make this denominator 8. I want to multiply by 2 on both. So I'll have a 6 over 8. So think about it. 6 over 8 over x over 8. If I were to move that up, I have 6 over 8 minus x over 8. And I want this equal to 1 over 8. So what number has x have to be to give me a 1 there? It can't be a 7, because 6 minus 7 is going to give me a negative 1. So it has to be smaller. So the only one that works is a 5, because 6 minus 5 is a 1, and then 8 just carries over. So your answer in this case is going to be a C as in cat. Okay, so you're dealing with like division, radical, exponential form, and then also solving. So it's several different skills compacted into one. All right, let's just go ahead and stop at number 31, and we'll continue next time. So for those of you guys on Zoom, I'll see you guys next time.